We're following breaking news. Special counsel Jack Smith has filed an appeal in former President Donald Trump's classified documents case out of Florida. He is urging the 11th District Court of Appeals to reverse Judge Aileen Cannon's decision to dismiss the case last month. Smith argues his appointment to the case was legal and that proceedings should restart as soon as possible. For more on this, I want to bring in CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law professor Jessica Levinson. Jessica, what is Jack Smith arguing?
Jack Smith is arguing, exactly as you said, that the appointment was proper, specifically that Attorney General Merrick Garland had both the constitutional and statutory power to appoint him as the special counsel here, because that's the only reason that Judge Cannon dismissed the case. I know when we talk about this case, the headline is the Mar-a-Lago case is dismissed. I think it is important for people to remember that that dismissal had nothing to do with the merits of the case, the accusations contained in the case. It had everything to do with whether or not special counsel Jack Smith had the power to move forward, meaning whether or not he was properly appointed to that position.
Right, and I'm looking at this order right now, and there are, fancy words like appointments clause. Can you remind us why Cannon ruled that Smith's appointment wasn't lawful?
Absolutely. So Judge Aileen Cannon, I believe this was mid-July, essentially said that there was no statutory authority. There was no, meaning congressional authorization that allowed Merrick Garland to say, Jack Smith, you are appointed to be the special counsel and you can move forward with this case. Now, the reason that, and there's 81 pages here, the reason that Jack Smith's brief starts with the Constitution is because it has to. The Constitution is the thing that gives Congress the power to say, when it comes to certain members of our government, like the Attorney General, you have the power to appoint other people to carry out your duties. So that's why we begin with the Appointments Clause, and then we move on to what the specific statutory authority here is. And Jack Smith, in this brief to the 11th Circuit, spends, I think, dozens of pages saying, here are the statutes that allow me to move forward. And that, to your question, undermines what Judge Aileen Cannon said, which is, I don't see the federal law that allows your appointment.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but one of her big issues also was sort of the idea of limitless appropriation, that essentially this office is funded by this fund that sort of doesn't have a bottom, if you will. Now, from what you've been able to read from Smith's filing, and I know it just came out, so you're probably still reading through all those 85 pages. Did he delve into that at all?
He did. There is an appropriation section. There's an appointment clause section, such a great question, and also an appropriation section. And he does, of course, talk about the funding and why, in his view, it's not limitless, and why, in his view, it is well within the power that has been granted to Merrick Garland by Congress. And one thing that I do want to mention, of course, yes, you're right, and thank you, I am still quickly reading through, but if you look at the summary and the introduction and the conclusion, one of the things that Jack Smith keeps emphasizing is the idea of Judge Aileen Cannon is on an island, that we have, and he goes back decades, we have long allowed for attorney generals to appoint special counsels and to give them the money they need to investigate, and then if the facts call for it, bring a case. And he talks about not just the specific statutes, but also the history of allowing special counsels, and also our understanding, both our understanding based on case law and our understanding based on people who function in the Attorney General's office, that would allow for this to happen. So he's really trying to make Aileen Cannon look like a complete legal outlier here.
And so, Jessica, I want to bring in CBS News Justice Department reporter Rob Legare from our D.C. Bureau. Jessica, I'm going to let you keep going through this filing, and you can flag our team when we have something else you want to add. But, Rob, from what you've been able to read right now, what is sticking out to you? We've been discussing a little bit with Jessica just some of the top lines of Smith's arguments here.
Right, yeah, just to pick up where Jessica aptly left off, one of the things that Jack Smith keeps going back to is not just what it means for this case, but what Cannon's order means for other cases, other appointments, both in the Justice Department and the executive branch. Jack Smith and his team basically laying out that if this case was adopted as law, this would mean that other appointments, both at the Justice Department and at other executive agencies across the executive branch, would be disqualified and not be able to assert the power that they say that they have. And so they point to other things like deputy associate attorney generals and other people within the federal government that exist not by congressional appointment and confirmation, but by the appointment of the attorney general. And so the historical precedent here that he says bolsters his claim, and then the historical ramifications of what this could mean if it was adopted across the board.
Robert, from your reporting, was it surprising that Smith's team is appealing this, or was it always assumed that they would bring this up to a higher jurisdiction?
Sure. So they pretty quickly told the 11th Circuit, which is the Circuit Court of Appeals that oversees the Southern District of Florida, where Judge Aileen Cannon sits, quickly notified the court that they were going to appeal this. This then was brought to a 3-judge panel who set a briefing schedule. Jack Smith did not seek any expedited ruling. He got slapped down by the Supreme Court on that other January 6th related case for trying to move too quickly through the appeals court. So here he's basically going through the normal process that any appeal would go through from any side, defendant or plaintiffs here. And basically they're saying, you know, we're filing this. Trump then has to respond by, I believe it's the 26th, sometime in late September. And then Smith will have a chance to reply by October. So this case, really, we won't get any type of hint either way as to how the 11th Circuit is going to rule till at least October, likely later, because there's then going to be an oral argument and then rulings later. So this is going to be a pretty long, protracted process here where legal arguments back and forth will be parsing through Cannon's ruling and then the legal arguments back and forth.
And you're also watching what's happening in D.C. with the election interference case in front of Judge Chutkan, right?
Yeah, that's right. So Judge Aileen Chutkan has now kind of taken back control of that election-related case after the Supreme Court made its landmark ruling in the U.S. v. Trump immunity matter, where basically the Supreme Court sent the case back down to Judge Chutkan to go over all of the conduct in Jack Smith's indictment against the former president here in D.C. and decide what was official and what was unofficial. We have another deadline in that case of Friday to hear what Jack Smith wants to do next. Judge Chutkan said a pretty quick calendar to want to hear how both sides wanted to proceed with the case. Now that she has the mandate back in her court, Smith asked for more time, informed the court that he was consulting with a broad array of departments within the Justice Department to figure out how they're going to proceed. That deadline is on Friday.